Hey folks, Will Hamilton here, and today I've got an exciting video for you. We're gonna continue building your custom playbook by talking about the 5 phases of the game. You know, over the course of this training series, we've talked about how other sports run plays. If you look at soccer, teams run plays to score goals. If you look at football, teams run plays to score touchdowns. And if you look at basketball, teams run plays to score baskets. When it comes to tennis, you can run plays to win more points. You can create an entire playbook that'll win you more matches now. So that's what we're doing over the course of this free training. And in today's video, like I said, we're talking about the 5 phases of the game. But if you haven't seen the previous 2 videos, go watch those now. There's links to them above this video. And the reason it's important to start with those 2 videos is because the concepts we talk about build up to the content in this video. So you can stop this video, go watch them now, and then you can come back here. This video's not going anywhere. So let's run through all 5 phases of the game real quick, and then we'll get into more detail. So phase 1 is serving. Now, when you are serving, you already are in the high ground, and you have the ultimate sword, which is your serve. The reason you're in the high ground is because you're right up on the baseline, you've got good forward position, you're in the middle of the court, and your opponent is off by the single sideline and possibly a couple steps back. So when you're setting up plays out of phase 1, you can obviously serve out wide, you can serve into the body, you can serve T, and each type of serve you hit is gonna create a certain type of expected return, which will allow you to flow into the rest of the play. Now keep in mind, you gotta have plays for both the deuce court and the ad court. Now, when we get into second serves, the situation becomes a little bit different because now you're no longer in the high ground, you're actually in neutral ground and you're hitting a shield. Your second serve is effectively a shield. At the highest levels of the game, it's about a 50-50 proposition when a player has to hit a second serve in terms of who's gonna win the point. So when that happens, the reason it now becomes the neutral ground, your position obviously doesn't change, but the returner, villain, can step into the court. And because you've got a shield now, is gonna be able to do more with the return. And when villain can do more with the return, you're actually now not in great position because you're too far in. If the return comes right at you, you could be stressed, kind of digging the ball off of your shoelaces. So this is a situation where villain is far to the side of the court by the single sideline, but you're too far in, so that effectively makes it neutral ground, obviously plus the combination of the shield makes this a very different situation than the first serve. So phase 2 is returning, and now we've got the reverse situation where villain's down here and villain has the high ground, hero is in the low ground, and villain's got the ultimate sword, his serve. So you might be wondering, well, can I really run a play when I'm returning? And the answer is absolutely yes, but when it's a first serve, your play is gonna be defensive in nature to start. You're trying to neutralize and get to even ground, neutral ground, and then that flows into the rest of what you're gonna do during the point. Now, I wanna talk about second serves when you're returning because this is one of the biggest missed opportunities for most recreational players because villain now has the shield of the second serve, and a lot of players don't realize that they're on neutral ground and they have an opportunity to really take advantage. We put tape on the back of this thing because it kept sliding. Really has an opportunity to take advantage of a second serve and run a play to immediately take charge. Phase 3 is rallying, and that's what we talked about in the last video. We shared 2 plays, home base and the battering ram, which are great rallying plays. Now, the key thing to understand about rallying, about this phase, is that you start in neutral ground. And the goal of the plays you run is first to gain the high ground, right? You wanna get here first, and then ideally, you set up the sword versus the shield. So that's what home base allowed you to do, that's what the battering ram allowed you to do, and there are a ton more plays that allow you to get to this situation here. But again, you're starting here and you're trying to get there. Phase 4 and 5 we're gonna talk about together because they're related. Phase 4 is where hero is approaching the net and is trying to end the point. So when hero is moving forward, he's got the high ground and the plays he's running are designed to end the point. But when we get to phase 5, where villain is approaching the net, Villain has the high ground and is moving forward. The plays hero is running is first designed to neutralize things, neutralize the court positioning, even though Villain is forward in the court, and then they're designed to end the point, obviously in hero's favor. So to cover those 5 phases of the game, when you're building your playbook, you're gonna wanna start with about 17 plays. That's a good initial number. You'll want 7 for serving, 4 for returning, 4 for rallying, and then 1 for when you're approaching and 1 when Villain is approaching. With 17 plays, you're gonna cover both the deuce court and the ad court. And of course, with all of these plays, you'll want to customize them to your specific game, your strengths and weaknesses. So one of the coolest things about the playbook is not only will it allow you to get the most out of the game you've already got, but it will also improve your technique. It'll make you better at swinging the racket in kind of a weird way. So in a second, I'm going to show you how that works, and we're going to go to a very cool clip with Bob and Mike Bryan, but it requires a teeny bit of setup. So I went to Davidson College in Charlotte, North Carolina, and if you've never heard of it, if you know who Steph Curry is, one of the best players in the NBA, that is where he went. So freshman year, I came into Davidson and I rode the bench my freshman year. The upperclassmen, unsurprisingly, were better than I was. And so over the course of my college career, for 5 days a week, 2 hours a day at least, we were out there practicing. And I really wanted to start. I was working hard on my game. And come senior year, I still rode the bench. Never started my college career. And I thought about why that was, and it wasn't until years later that I actually figured out what had happened. At Davidson, Coach had sort of a practice section that he called Roll Your Own, and what that meant was you could just go with a teammate and practice anything you needed to work on. And in college, my volleys were really bad. So I would work on my volleys, and I would come up to the net and I'd have my partner feed me, my teammate feed me balls, and I would work on hitting my volleys. You know, my friend Craig O'Shaughnessy, he's one of the top strategy analysts in the world, has this phrase where he says, the practice court is broken. And even though I worked so hard on my game for those 4 years, I was doing it in a way that was broken. I mean, a situation like this, you never see in a match. So when you have a playbook and you're running plays that win you points, you can then start tweaking the way you practice your game to actually mirror what happens in a match, to mirror the plays you are going to run. So let me give you a specific example of that, and then we'll get to a cool segment with Bob and Mike Bryan. I'm going to show you 3 points I play against my buddy Kenny, who's helped with this series. Very good player, he's 5-0. Now the key here is because I'm running a play, because I'm putting the ball in a very specific spot, in this case out wide to his shield, I know that I'm going to get a very specific type of return, a couple types of returns. And I already know ahead of time what I'm going to do with every single type of return. High ball down the middle, winner into the open court. Lower ball down the line, play behind, maintain the high ground, get the lob, that was out. And then wide over here, that's gonna be a slice forehand down the line. All of them are designed, pre-designed to get me the high ground and keep me in the high ground. Now, if you come back to what I did in college, you'll notice none of this right here prepared me for what you just saw. And what Bob and Mike Bryan taught me was that everything you do, everything you practice needs to support the plays you are actually going to run in a match. So with that in mind, let's go see Bob and Mike's close volley drill and see how this will allow you to get better at serving and volleying. The thing you want to notice specifically is that they are doing this thing on a diagonal, which is exactly how things work when you serve and volley. Now I know Bob and Mike are doubles players, but this is a drill that works whether you're a doubles player or a singles player. It's perfect if you're trying to figure out how to actually execute the serve and volley.
All right, here's a drill we've been doing since we were 2 years old, the close volley drill. You just start at the back and you come in on the diagonal. This works on hitting volleys from deep in the court, and you're hitting volleys everywhere, high, low, and you're moving forward, which is what you want to do in doubles. You want to get to the net, and as you get closer with your opponent, you start working on your hands because the ball starts going quicker. So it works on pretty much everything you need.
Every to net, or from baseline up to net.
Yeah,
Every.
exactly.
You want to try to get to net as fast as possible. Get the ball as high as possible. You never want to be hitting shoelace volleys in this drill. But yeah, start on the baseline, sprint forward, and then after the point, back pedal. Get that conditioning.
All right, let's see it.
Start backpedaling.
Oh, I got him! We're done. Like, did I get you hard?
No, you hit me right here. You're
All right,
lucky.
sorry, buddy.
Don't do that again, though.
Sibling rivalry.
Oh!
So, here, Bob, tell me a little bit about what you're trying to do when you move forward in terms of the balance. What are you trying to do with the volley when it's maybe a little deeper versus when you get closer?
Well, I'm trying to be aggressive with my legs. I'm trying to use as much legs as possible. You don't want to be stiff.
Right.
And that's just getting your core lower so that the ball's higher. So if the ball's down here, you want to get down a little bit lower so you can get more drive. But yeah, I'm moving forward the whole time. You don't want to stop and hit the volley. You want to be moving forward through it.
And that's a good point. A lot of rec players bend at the waist like this.
Yeah.
That's the recipe
wide base, and get down on the legs and go through it.
But you're not trying to put the ball away. You're just trying to.
No, this drill, you're trying to keep it going, but you don't want to patty cake it. You want to help your partner out by giving him some nice stick. You want to help his hands out, and he wants to help improve your hands.
Okay. See one more time.
Yep.
All right, so I think that's good. We saw a couple of things. You're not, you're getting the high volleys, the low volleys, some half volleys in there. So it's really working the whole range.
This is great for the serve and volley player when they serve. Sometimes you're going to face a good returner where they're going to blister that ball low. You have to get down. Sometimes that return is going to come soft, and you're going to have to run, sprint forward, take it as high as you can, and stick that ball up to it.
So the big takeaway with Bob and Mike is that their playbook, not only does that thing allow them to get the most out of the games they've already got, but it allows them to actually get better in terms of their technique, in terms of how they swing the racket. And the same is true for you. Bob and Mike's practice court is not broken. Everything they do is in support of the plays that they run. And that is one of the reasons, sort of a hidden reason, having one of these is so important. Because if you feel like you've been spinning your wheels, then this gets you out of neutral. I mean, I spent 4 years in college working on stuff that didn't really improve me nearly as much as I thought it was. I put in all this effort. And the funny thing is now I'm in my mid-30s and I play a couple times a week. I would absolutely crush my college level self, even though I was 22 years old in peak physical condition and playing 5 times a week, 2 hours a day at least. It's simply because I've got one of these, I know how to get the most out of my game, and I know how to improve my game, work on my game in a way that actually improves my technique and makes me better. That's why I'm so excited about sharing this material with you. So with that said, I've got a question. Which of the 5 phases of the game do you struggle with the most? Just let me know in the comments below, and when you do, I'm gonna send you a Facebook message that's gonna give you everything we talked about today, the 5 phases of the game, as a 1-page PDF you can print out and put into your playbook. It's the next page in your playbook. So in a couple days, I've got something pretty cool that you might be interested in. How would you like me to send you your custom playbook? So this one is mine. It says Will Hamilton Singles Playbook. How would you like your name right here and every single play in here, all 17 plays covering all 5 phases of the game, customized specifically to you? I will send this entire thing to you, done for you. Well, if your answer is yes, in a couple days, I'm opening up registration for the Singles Playbook Coaching Program. And this is a 4-week program where we build your custom playbook. All 17 plays custom to you. It's designed specifically for your strengths and weaknesses, your level and your type of play. Counterpuncher, serve and volleyer, aggressive baseliner, you name it. Everything is custom to you. And I'm gonna physically send you this thing, right? You're actually gonna get this at the end of the program. Once we build your playbook, I'm gonna put it all together, put your name here, and send it to you. And if you get it on the first day, I'm actually gonna waive the shipping and handling. So that's a little bonus for being a fast action taker. So if you're interested, above this video in the description, there's a link that will take you to an early bird registration page. So just on that page, all you do is enter in your email address, and I'll let you know when this is coming out so you can get in on the first day and take advantage of the free shipping and handling. But I'm super excited about being able to build one of these things for you, because the fact of the matter is it's gonna transform your game. It's gonna allow you to get the most out of the game you've already got, and then maybe more importantly, it's gonna set you up for the rest of your tennis career to actually improve, to get out of neutral and become the player you've always wanted to be. So excited to share this for you. And whether or not you decide to join me inside of that program, thank you so much for spending the time watching these 3 free training videos. I really enjoyed putting them together for you. I hope you got a lot out of them. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.